This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Right now, cleanup is underway for parts of the bi-state after severe storms causes more damage and power outages. Good Thursday morning, everybody. It's July the 13th. I'm Renee Knott.
And I'm Michelle Lee. Of course, this is just some of the damage that we are seeing from overnight. This is in Park Hills, Missouri. You can see lots of trees down. Right now, Ameren, Missouri is working to restore power to thousands of customers. This morning, we also have team coverage in the aftermath of those severe storms. Our Alex Fees is live in St. Francis County assessing the damage there.
But right now, let's toss things over to our meteorologist, Anthony Slaughter. And Anthony, are we expecting any more storms today?
So we are not expecting any more storms today, but we do have more in the weekend forecast. And as far as this morning goes, well, we did have a few lingering showers, just a few minutes wrap up here in the St. Louis metro area. The worst of the weather down across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, where they had a severe thunderstorm watch. Looks like it was just allowed to cancel or expire. So that's where the worst of the weather is now. But you see here locally, as you look at the Doppler radar, a shower just moved through St. Louis, and then you still have this intense rain that just moved out of Rolla, now out of our viewing area near Salem, Missouri. So you see the showers out towards, it looks like right over 64 coming in from the Illinois side, and then just south of Edwardsville on 270 and 255. So showers are wrapping up as we speak. Lambert got close to an inch of rainfall, and our highest totals topped 1 to 2 inches, mostly on the Missouri side of the river. Numbers today will still be hot and humid. Numbers today near 90 degrees. We have more storms in the weekend forecast that is coming up for you in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Anthony. Our weather team coverage continues as a lot of people are trying to pick up from last night's storm. Our Alex Fees is live in Park Hill this morning. And Alex, what are you finding?
Michelle, good morning. First of all, we have some updated numbers for you here in this St. Francis County town of Park Hills. 1,600 people remain without power here. However, Ameren crews are making progress. Fewer than 10,000 Ameren customers in and around the St. Louis area are without power this morning. Now, we're standing in front of the house here that was the home of Jonice Lynn and her brother David Underwood on Emerson Street. Jonice tells us this happened about 9:30 last night when this huge tree came crashing into their house. Woke her up, came out and looked into the kitchen, but was not able to get out of the house. She had to call 911 and a fire had to come and help get her out of the home last night. Now we'll show you the video we have from last night. This is very typical of the type of damage. This is a scene in South St. Louis County last night where Rudy Masinovich showed us a tree that fell on top of his house. He estimated last night his family had up to $60,000 worth of damage. He tried removing the tree and covering his roof with the tarp. Masinovich had begun the process of filing a claim with his insurance company.
Wind is blowing like, you can see anything, like fog and wind. It's, I don't know, maybe 70 to 100 miles an hour. And I'm looking outside to see what's going on and going around the house and to see my middle daughter's in the house, like knocking on the back door. But the falling tree fell down on the house, you know. One branch, second branch, you know, and it's scared. I never be scared like today, this 5-10 minutes.
Now, Ameren crews were at work here in St. Francis County in the town of Park Hills overnight to restore power. This is what the scene looked like in this part of St. Francis County. Several tree limbs snapped and trees uprooted. The National Weather Service reported a tree fell on a home with 5 people inside. Thankfully, none of them were hurt. Now, so far this morning, there have been no reports of any injuries or widespread damage as a report of the weather system that moved through yesterday. And this all, it's second verse, same as the first. Feels very familiar as St. Louis area residents went through this whole process just a couple of weeks ago. Then the damage was in University City and North St. Louis County. Today, it seems to be south. Live this morning in St. Francis County, Alex Fees, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Alex. This morning, we are working to learn more about a possible fire at Grant's Farm last night. Fire crews responded to the South County attraction after smoke was seen coming from the main house. The Lee May Fire Protection District tells 5 on your side lightning was seen in the area. No word as of yet on if the building was actually struck by the lightning, though.
So many of our viewers have sent us pictures and video of last night's storm. Take a look there. Wow, incredible. Cameron from O'Fallon, Missouri, sent us this video of lightning over the area. And then take a look. Pam in Franklin County shared this video of the heavy rain. Ooh, hear that thunder there? I heard that as I woke up this morning. You know, you can share your photos and videos with us as well, just as long as you're safe. You can text them to the number on your screen.
Okay, good morning. Absolutely, awareness is key this morning as far as branches, limbs, signs, and vehicles that might be spinning around because it's slick. We've got wet conditions out there, and right behind this vehicle, right behind the emergency vehicle there is another car that is going the other way. They spun out here 6440 westbound at Boyle. That is going to cause a delay. It's been there about 8 to 10 minutes, so just be careful if you're in that area, and that's the icon right now. Otherwise, it's a pretty smooth commute. Like I said, construction branches, those are the things to be aware of. I'll let you know if there's any delays coming up. Rennie?
All right, Paul, happening today, we should be getting an update from federal investigators about this deadly Greyhound bus crash in Madison County. The bus hit 3 semi-trucks, resulting in the death of 3 passengers and 14 other passengers being injured. Our Sydney Stallworth is live for us at the St. Louis Gateway Transportation Center with more on what we are expected to learn today. Sydney?
Well, Rennie, today we do know that we're expecting some more information from the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, about what their investigation is revealing so far about this deadly crash. You just mentioned 3 people died in the crash, 14 passengers were seriously injured, but there were about 6 passengers who had mild enough injuries to walk away from this crash. And I met one of those passengers right here yesterday. His name was Edward Alexander, and he performed acts of heroism helping people off of that bus. Another person helping to save lives was a truck driver whose truck was hit by the bus. They described the chaos in the moments after this crash.
I felt my nose, and I rubbed my nose full of blood, and that's when I looked behind me, I seen the pregnant girl behind me, so I helped her up, get her out the window. She said she couldn't breathe.
People were flapping the windows open on the roadside, so we ran over there and started pulling people out of the windows.
This Greyhound bus coming from Indianapolis crashed into 3 truck tractor trailers on I-70 in Madison County, Illinois. The NTSB tells 5 on your side it's too early to say the cause of this crash, and that investigators do not know why the commercial vehicles were parked alongside the exit ramp to the Silver Lake rest stop. Now, once the uninjured passengers, like Edward Alexander, who you just heard from, were brought to this St. Louis center, Alexander says Greyhound offered the passengers payments of $2,500 after the crash. He says, quote, they don't want us to sue, and that he did take the money. NTSB held a news briefing yesterday giving this message to passengers on board the bus during this horrific crash.
On behalf of all of us at NTSB, I would like to extend our most sincere condolences to the survivors and to the families and friends of the victims of this tragedy.
Now, we don't know where or what time this news conference today is expected to happen, but NTSB did tell our newsroom to keep a close eye on their Twitter page for those announcements. So we'll be watching that so we can bring you the latest updates on air and, of course, online. In our next half hour, I'll have more information on just how long NTSB investigators expect this investigation to last. But for now, reporting live in downtown St. Louis, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.
Thanks so much, Sydney. This morning, there will be a news conference detailing a further call to action for the community after a new report was released regarding radioactive waste in the St. Louis area.
Thousands of government documents revealed some of that waste dated back to the 1940s. Our Laura Barcheski looks at the proposed legislation and at a call to action that sprung up just hours after that report was released.
Thousands of pages in this report detailing the U.S. Department of Energy's knowledge on radioactive waste in St. Louis validates everything that this group has been fighting against for decades.
St. Louis is still at a war effort. We're still at World War II with the materials that are in our schools, our yards, our roadways, our groundwater.
Dawn Chapman of Just Mom's STL read just one page of a document from the 1980s that was prepared and given to the Department of Energy detailing just how bad this could be.
It is estimated that for average rainfall, the amount of soil material that may have eroded and transported into Coldwater Creek from the site could be as high as 28 tons a year.
This report sparked a national conversation. Senator Josh Hawley announced he is going to propose more legislation to help those affected.
The federal government needs to pay the medical bills for any St. Louis resident who has contracted cancer or an autoimmune virus or a genetic disorder because of exposure to radioactive contamination.
Which to Chapman, whose family is struggling with these exact issues, means more than she can say.
Everything that we thought and felt and was in these documents, he poured out onto the Senate floor. And I mean, I'm calling it a miracle. It feels very much like a miracle today.
Representatives Tricia Burns and Doug Clemens have vowed to make sure they continue to fight for expedited cleanup for people suffering now.
I would like to see the cleanup to the safest standards by circular law possible, which is not what they're doing right now. They're leaving the stuff at a depth of 8 inches in people's backyards where they grow their tomatoes.
But they say nothing can make up for the lives already wasted away over a more than 80-year-long fight.
We cannot let the ball drop. It's been too long in the making, decades of every generation pushing it just a little bit further. We owe it to the people in the future. We owe it to ourselves, to our friends and our family.
Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The news conference is today at noon at the Weldon Springs Site Interpretive Center. Lawmakers are asking members of the community who want to speak on their experience with the decades of radioactive waste to attend.
All right, Rennie and Michelle, let's get you up to speed with how much rain we actually had fall over the last 24 hours. A live look in Kirkwood at the green, lush plants this morning. Yeah, they're happy, and I'm sure you are too. We really escaped a lot of the worst of the severe weather, but we did have a lot of rain, and we need the rain because we are still in a drought. The heaviest rain totals topped 1 to 2 inches area-wide. Lambert came just shy of an inch, but you see the big winner here, Cuba, Missouri, close to 2 inches. And then as you head into Warrenton, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, Missouri, St. Charles County, you got a decent downpour, anywhere from a ½ inch officially at St. Charles, and then in those areas you can see it close to 1.5 inches. Afton, Potosi, even U City close to 1 inch. So as we go through the day, we're dry today, but more storms this weekend. The timing of that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Thanks so much.